Okay. So adding and subtracting fractions is straightforward when the denominators are the same. When I've split the pizza up into the same size slice. It's very easy to say, all right, 1/4 plus 2/4, well, that equals 3/4. And you can see that visually. If you were to draw another one, you'd have this one and these two. So you have 3 out of 4. So it's pretty straightforward if we have the same denominator. If we do not have the same denominator, that's where the problems arise. So if I have one pizza split up into 6 and the other pizza is split up into quarters.
Find the lowest common multiple.
Okay, yes. So we have to think about how I would figure this out. So I think about what's my lowest common multiple, as Stefano says. So what is the lowest common multiple? 12. Okay. So if both these fractions are written as equivalent fractions with 12 as the denominator, how do I pick 12? Well, it's the lowest number that 6 and 4 both divide into. Then I can add it together. So what does 1/6 become as 12s? 2 12s. So if this denominator is multiplied by 2 to get to 12, the numerator must also multiply by 2. Neil, are you with me? Yep. So 2 12s, yes. And this has been multiplied by 3 to get to 12, so this is multiplied by 3 as well to create an equivalent fraction. So 9 12s is the same as 3/4. I've just split up in the same way as 1/2 can be written. If I 1/2 is the same as 2/4 is the same as 4/8, just by splitting the size of the slice. Okay, so now I have this. What do I do next? Times it. So I'm adding these fractions. So now they have the same denominator. Is my denominator in the answer 12 or 24? 12. It stays as 12. Same as my first example. I got quarter-sized slices, so I had 3/4 my final answer. This one will have 12, and you just add the numerators only. So you have 11 12s. Okay. So my process is get a common, that's called the lowest common denominator, this number here. Okay, and then once I have that, I convert both fractions into that denominator. Let's look at a second example. I use subtraction this time. Let's do 2/5 minus 1/7. So one way of finding a common denominator might not always be the lowest one, is to just multiply these two together. That will always give you a denominator. It mightn't give you the lowest one. It does in this case. But yes, I can always find one. So if you're stuck to find one, just multiply these two together and you have one. In this case, it would have given 24, but that's okay. We would have got an answer 22 out of 24, which we could simplify afterwards. So this one, I'm just going to go, well, 5 times 7, that's definitely a multiple of both, so I'm going to use it as my denominator. The numerator then, Senna, are you with me?
Yeah.
What's the numerator here?
7 times 2, 14.
Okay, yep. So 7 times 2. You can think about this as a cross multiply if you want, but really what you're doing is you're creating an equivalent fraction by multiplying 7 over 7, so that becomes 14. This one multiplied by 5 over 5. Why 5? Because 7 times 5 gives us 35. 1 times 5 is 5. What do I put here? It's still a subtraction. Still a subtraction. Now I can get an answer for it. My denominator does not change once I found the common denominator, but 14 take away 5 this time gives 9. Can that be simplified?